Hello and welcome back to what is now part 6 of this Soul Level 1 run that I'm doing in Elden Ring. Uh, Last time we were able to get basically all the way through Ronnie's quest line and clear out most of that area. This time I think I want to go through and clear Fia's quest line, get that all the way up to whatever the dragon is at the end of it, forget his name, and then go through Mount Gelmir. I think those are the two main things that I want to clear in this part. And then you should finish off with killing Rykard. While I'm in Nokron, I kind of want to just go and fight these two gargoyles that are up here. This should be a continuation onto Fia's questline. This might be a little bit difficult since there are two of them, and I think they have a pretty decent amount of HP, but let's see. I don't think they can be bled. Might be easier to just use the large weapon. Oof. Okay. I know you can like lure these guys off the edge and have them fall to their own deaths, but oof. You drag that pretty slow. Oh my god. Did not expect that attack. And now we have the Valiant Gargoyles. Now, before I actually start talking about the boss, I kind of want to just say that I don't like choosing bosses in these types of runs. I play these runs for the challenge themselves. Doing like cheesy stuff like either having them fall off the edge or using some broken glitch just to get past them isn't as fun for me. But I do have a limit when it comes to just bullshit. This boss, they're not bad on their own. It's just that you have to fight two of these guys at once, and that is just it's just bullshit. I can fight them just fine on their own. Like, I've shown that I've been able to beat the first one, at least down to half HP to spawn the second one, and obviously I have to beat the second one on its own to be able to win the fight. But fighting them together, especially when you have low damage and you're basically almost one shot from any attack, it's just nigh impossible in these types of runs. Like, I could try to beat them together and make it a legitimate, but it's just, I don't like them enough to try for that. I couldn't sit here for that long enough. So in the end, I do come to just knocking the first one and having him jump off the edge and just killing himself. It's a little bit of an RNG crapshoot to do that, but I eventually do get that to happen. Now, for the choice of weapons, both of these are completely immune to all status effects. They can't take bleed, they don't take poison, they don't take frost, they don't take scarlet rot, nothing. The only thing you can do is just straight damage. So I went with using a longsword and just trying to do as much damage in a single hit as I possibly could. Now, every single time that I went for a hit, I went for a jumping heavy. This is partially because you don't really have much time in an opening, so you can't get like a charged heavy or you can't get multiple light swings or anything like that. And this is the quickest way to get one big burst of damage. Now, they do have a lot of openings. Like, after every single one of their attacks, they do have an opening. It's just that it's not very long to do much in it. Also, a benefit for jumping heavies is that you can eventually guard break them and get a riposte in. Although I will say that I don't ever go for the riposte. I actually just go for a charged heavy, as I actually do more damage than if I were to riposte him. Now, in terms of challenge, they are a large enemy, so a lot of their attacks actually can just be avoided by running between their legs and getting behind them. That means like any attack that would be in front of them, you just completely dodge out of the way, and you can then just really easily get an opening. Uh, Now, each hit from the boss does do a pretty good amount of damage, but I don't think any hit was actually like enough to insta-kill me. Unless I got hit multiple times by like a combo attack, I was pretty much safe from any one hit, which made the fight substantially easier than it would have been otherwise. Most of the challenge in this boss fight really just comes from the gank, not like fighting them individually. You fight multiple gargoyles throughout the rest of this game. You fight one in front of the Beast Clergyman in Caelid. You also fight one out in the Consecrated Snowfield, or out in the mountaintops of the Giants. So you have experience with these boss fights. It's just that, you know, putting 2-on-1 always makes things infinitely harder. Now, obviously, having one of them jump off the edge makes this fight a lot easier. Like, I think it took me like 10 attempts before I just kind of gave up on trying to fight them both. And then after that, it took me another 9 attempts just to kill those one individually, so they aren't too bad to fight on their own. It just takes a little bit of RNG to get the first one to jump off the edge, because if he doesn't want to, he just will keep swinging on you. Now, I really do not like this type of boss, specifically gank boss fights. I rarely have ever seen a gank boss fight done correctly in these games. I think there's only 3 cases that I can defiantly say that these were good iterations of gank boss fights. Those being Ornstein and Smo, the Abyss Watchers, and the Demon Prince. All of those give you opportunities to actually separate the boss and fight them in one-on-ones, and then just manage how you're going to actually fight them one-on-one. So ONS, it's getting them trapped on the pillars in the arena, and then the fact that they have a speed difference between the 2 bosses. You could actually separate them. The Abyss Watchers, they attack themselves. So in that first phase where it's like a 3v1, you can actually turn it into a 2v2 and completely even the fight. So it's more of a management of, do you want to push in during that time and actually get a hit out? And then the Demon Prince, you have them alternating between which one's aggressive and which one's passive and ranged. So you can basically fight a one-on-one with just some ranged distraction that's not too terrible to dodge. And then I think Ruin Sentinels are another one that I could say might be decent, because you can fight one of them individually at the beginning, and then the 2 afterwards don't have high HP, and they separate themselves pretty quickly since they don't attack very quickly. But that's kind of a maybe. Though I will say that this has got to be one of the worst boss fights I have actually encountered in this game. It probably goes up there for the worst boss fight in this game. There's only 2 other ones that I think probably could compare, and for the exact same reason that I hate this boss fight, is that they're ganks. The other 2 being Thea's Champions, which I fight right after this boss fight, so that's fun. And then the Godskin Duo, which I'll be interested to see how many attempts that takes for me. When you're doing like a normal damage run, gank boss fights aren't like terrible. They're still pretty annoying to deal with, but like generally they have lower HP individually, so you can basically like nuke one of them and then fight the other one solo a lot of times. But when you're doing low damage runs like this, you can't nuke. You have to fight them side by side for a long time, and it's just a pain. I hate doing them in these runs. They're like one of the main reasons why I don't like doing these runs in certain times, but I think honestly, with all of the other like solo one-on-one fights, that's what really keeps me coming back to these types of runs. If every fight was a gank fight, I would not play these games. The Gargoyles did not take me too many attempts, like 19, just a decent amount, but I got through it pretty quickly by just abusing that kind of, I wouldn't say glitch, but exploit. I will say though, however, for Thea's Champions, that is not the case. I don't get that kind of exploit. There we go, that's done. Boss is kind of annoying. And it's really just annoying because the fact that you have to fight them both at the same time. Obviously, I decided not to do that and just kind of like cheese the first gargoyle, but fighting them 2-on-1 is just like, it's just not possible. uh, it's not possible to just not take a hit in that first phase, or that like transition phase where you're fighting the one at half HP and the one at that just spawned. I think it's fair to just choose one of them. Anyway, this should be leading towards Fia's area.
And coming through here in Deep Root Deaths, we kind of come towards the end of Fia's questline. Before defeating them, you obviously have to defeat Fia's champions and then Lich Dragon Fortisax. I guess we just defeat the champions now. This one's going to be interesting because it's kind of like a NPC PvP encounter. So this might be a little bit of a different story than most boss fights. NPCs are very dumb though, so if you run away, you can do a lot of damage to them. Shoot. If you run away from most NPCs, they'll just run at you. Hey, can you not? But at least if they're an aggressive NPC, if they're not, like a caster, you have plenty of time to try to run up and hit them. There you go. First one. Next one I'm pretty sure is Rajier. Spells hurt. Ah. 2 hits from Rajier, and it's dead.
And here we have Fia's champions. Wow, just another gank boss fight. Bravo. Thank you, From. I hate these gank fights just with a burning passion. They are just they're artificial difficulty. Like, I think this is just complete artificial difficulty on terms of From. These guys shouldn't be as hard as they are. They oftentimes, these boss fights are really boring. They're really simple, but they're just like, oh look, you're fighting 2 of them, so it makes it harder. It's just like, nah, give me another Radon, give me another Morgott. Like, those fights are good, but this is just not. Not to mention, you also add in the fact that you get RNG in this fight. The first phase and the third phase have random characters. They have like, it's like 50 or 60 random characters that they can just throw at you. I don't think I ever got the same character twice to fight in those rounds. So it's just RNG for who you're getting. Whether you can parry them, whether you can block them, whether you can backstab them, it's just annoying that you can't get a consistent run out of that. Now, I will say another thing is that I do use Carry and Retaliation in this to like basically throw back spells at Rajier specifically. This is in the patch where they are broken and they will deal a lot of damage. They scale off the weapon and can basically deal upwards of like 3,000 or 4,000 damage in a single hit. The patch to fix this came out like, I think like 3 days, 2 or 3 days after I beat this, so I had no idea that it was going to be patched so soon. Or it wasn't soon, it was like a month that this was in the game, but I will say though that the damage scales off of your weapon. So since I don't upgrade my weapon at all and I don't level up my character, the swords actually do the same amount of damage that they would have done normally. I've tested this post patch and the damage is pretty much the exact same. So I really am not abusing the X-Wood in this. It's what it would have been if I was fighting it post patch. Now, honestly, like since this is a gank boss fight, I will say I hope I never have to fight this boss ever again. I hate this. Now, in terms of weapons, for phase one, I always generally went with a longsword. It does good damage. All of the enemies in phase one have really low HP. They can be killed in just a few hits. Doesn't take too long. And then a lot of them also can be parried, but that takes a little bit of RNG depending on if you can actually get someone who can be parried or if someone's wielding some ultra great sword. Although if they do that, then they can also wield. You can just backstab them. I think it's worse when you get katanas. Now, in phase two, Rajier is like not fun to deal with. He does a lot of damage and he does it really quickly. So it's kind of unsafe to like try to go in terms of melee against him. He also wields a rapier, so he can basically get out of hit stun and attack you almost before you can get out and dodge away from it. So I didn't take the risk of actually like dodging out of uh, attacking him in melee in his second phase. I just went for current retaliation the entire time. I didn't want to risk trying to get hit in that fight. He could kill you in like one hit. In phase three, I again went back to the longsword. I didn't use the claws at all in this fight, just because they don't give you enough like stagger or hit stun on any of the enemies to like give you safe opportunities to get out after you've hit them once. And a lot of times you might actually get countered, and then most of these enemies can one-shot you at this point in the game. So if you get countered, you're just dead, and you got to restart again. Uh, this fight is entirely patience, and so getting killed in one hit at phase three is just super detrimental to morale. So I went with a longsword that was a little bit more reliable. Now this phase is like 80% just hit and run. You're running for 80% of the fight. Again, with the damage that they do, it's like you just basically want to run away, and then hit one when they get close to you once they've separated themselves. You want to basically attack the for like the ones that are weaker that are around Lionel and not actually attack him. Attack the one that basically has the least amount of armor. Generally, there's one that has either really light armor or I think in the case of here had no armor. So they die pretty quickly. Just take that one out first until it's a 2v1, and then you can basically just run away until they separate themselves manually, and then just swing on the one that's close to you. Now, if you get really good RNG in phase three, sometimes you can actually get a mage that's in the group. And what you can do actually there is use carry and retaliation to parry the spell that they cast at you from like a long range. And then you want to actually switch your aggro onto like either Lionel or the other one, and then use the carry and retaliation to hit them. It does a really good amount of damage, ignoring the glitch that actually doesn't affect me since my weapon is level 1. Um, but it allows you to take out Lionel and the other one with relative safety. Um, I got it one time, and then I was dumb and got myself killed. And then in the other 49 attempts, or yeah, 49 attempts, I never got another mage in phase 3. So it really depends on your RNG, which is another terrible thing about this fight. In terms of challenge, this is close to the most deaths I've had in a boss fight. It's not quite there yet. This took me 50 attempts, so 49 deaths. The one that still holds that title is the Draconic Tree Sentinel with 57 deaths. Although that might change somewhat soon. I know bosses closer to the end of the game are going to be a lot more challenging. I can see someone like Morgott taking just as long. Um, this honestly just takes way too much reliance on RNG to beat because it's dependent on, do you get good summons in phase 1 and phase 3? Do you get them to actually separate themselves? Because there's no way for you to do that manually other than just running away. It's kind of just a pain in the ass to fight them. The challenge is not actually the individual enemies. It's just the fact that it's a gank, which is almost always the case in these types of gank fights. It's really just comes down to patience. Patience is entirely key in these fights. Don't overpush. You make one mistake and you overpush and you're just dead. You got to start all the way from the beginning. This run took me, I think, around like 10 minutes, 10 or 12 minutes just to fight this one run. It takes forever. And again, 80% of it was all in that last phase. Phase 3 took the longest time out of all of them. And I, again, really hate these types of fights. I think I've said that 3 times now, but I cannot say enough how much I utterly hate gank boss fights. They are rarely done correctly. A lot of times they're just artificial difficulty with a boring enemy, and it just is so annoying in these low damaging runs. There are some good cases where it's done right, and some of those bosses are really, really good. I think ONS is probably one of my favorite bosses of all of Soulsborne, and they're a gank boss fight. But it's so hard to get that done right that a lot of times it goes so south. And Fia's Champions in that regard is probably one of the worst bosses in I think in just Elden Ring, like all of it. I think the only one that could maybe attest to that would be Godskin Duo. They are a pain in my ass, but this fight took me a long time to face, and it's just running for the entire fight, and that's just boring. It's boring. The enemies are boring, and it's a gank, so one mistake and you're dead. These gank fights aren't terrible for like when you actually level your weapons and have HP, because they all each individually have low HP. You can basically just nuke them if you're proper leveled, but in low damage, it's just a pain. Now, after Fia's Champions, there's only one major gank boss fight left in the game, and that is the Godskin Duo. This fight will either be easier because I've fought both of them before in this run. I know how they're fought, and I know how to beat both of them. It's just that fighting them together is a pain. There is a way to deal with them when they're together, but I'm not sure how effective that's going to be when I actually fight them. They're a little ways down the road, but not looking forward to actually encountering them. I bet you they're going to hold the highest death count out of any boss. Either that or Elden Beast. Anyway, as parting words, all I have to say is fuck this boss. I hope I never have to do this fight again. That almost was the hardest fight that I have experienced so far. I think that was around 40. It was almost like 50 attempts. Like 50 attempts just to beat this boss. It's just. It's a gank fight. Like, just plain and simple, it's a gank fight. It's not meant to be taken on at these low damage, low HP, like, challenge runs. There's so few openings that it is a pain to fight these types of bosses. I'm just glad it's over. Well, with Fia's Champions out of the way, we can actually kind of finish up Fia's quest line. Now we need to find whatever she needs to complete her quest line, and then we can go on and defeat Lich Dragon Fortisax, and that will be the end of this quest line. Right, and then it's Curse Mark of Death, which is located all the way over here. This is going to be interesting. The mage that's located in this area is quite a pain to deal with. I don't want to test that. Die. There we go. That's an easy way to deal with him. Shoot him with a bow until he gets over here, and then just use carry and retaliation. Now I gotta make sure I don't die to the hands. Isn't this else? Yeah, this is where we fight the Godskin Noble as well, so this is gonna be interesting. What do I want to use for this boss fight? I think I'll just go with this, and then probably this. Because he can be bled, he can be frostbitten, and he also can be parried. So. And get fucked. That should be a kill. There we go. That boss is more annoying than I expected. I don't know why that took so long. One missed parry, and he just rips you a new hole. Like, his attacks aren't too hard to parry, it's just, you have to parry so many times, it's just like, one mistake, you're dead. Wait! He gave me no runes! What the fuck? All of that trouble for, like, 5,000 runes. Bruv. It's just like, why? He has less runes than just, like, normal enemies. I don't understand. But no. Because I am very dumb. Let's get our asses handed to us. I will not take very many attempts on this. Ah, I was way too close. As long as he keeps doing that, it doesn't seem too bad. It doesn't seem too bad. I can see myself taking a lot of attempts on that for mistakes, but reasonable. Anyway, I don't want to do that anymore. Mount Gelmir time? I think it's Mount Gelmir time. Rainbow Stone leads way to the riches. Huh, I wonder what this ever could be. It's not like I've seen this in literally every other game. Oh, it goes near this cliff. I sure do hope that I don't get kicked off this cliff.
Well, if you really are that gullible. Then stay away from the Volcano Manor! Bye now! Take care!
Alright, run across a random boss fight in one of the caves. And it's this. Oh, it's two of these. Oh, shoot. I hate this so much. Space out so I may hit you. Back here. This is... Oh, I was close. Ooh, I am like close to being poisoned. I want to make sure I... Nah, I'm dead. That definitely seems manageable. I think... I don't see why I don't just take this out now. Just keep up pressure. How am I alive? Oh. Do they get a buff if I'm poisoned? Don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. I think they get a buff if I'm poisoned, which is interesting. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Kindred of Rot Exaltation. What does that do? I have no clue. Rotting or poison vicinity increases attack power. Completely useless. Like, that is actually completely useless for us. But I don't know. I was here, so I decided to take it on. Why not?
And in the volcano cave, come across this boss. The end of it. Demi-human queen. I don't know if it's weak to anything, but it seems to take a decent amount of damage from a hit. Ooh, fast though. And it definitely insta-kills. Moss. Jump at me. I am so lucky on that, didn't hit me. There we go. Not a hard boss, pretty weak to both bleed and frost. Let me get the jar cannon out of that. Great weapon for hunting AFK farmers, which shouldn't even be a thing in this game, but somehow it is. Alright, there we go. Now we arrived at Mount Gelmir, Volcano Manor. Alright.
I guess kind of just complete some quest lines in this area, get those done, and then we can take on Rykard. And now for one of From's dumbest things they've ever done. Not any boss, it's not any enemy. It's this stupid wall. Miyazaki. Why? Hello there. You gonna let me... This probably guy. This probably... Ugh. This guy can probably kill me. Best use this. Any one hit from his weapon will probably just kill me. So if we use that shield, hopefully that won't happen. Now the hope is to just not get hit in the first place, but you know. Backstab. Yeah, backstab. Thought I was gonna get punished there. Another backstab. Haha, there we go. Fuck your tables. Alright, first mission of the Volcano Manor is to take out Old Knight Istvan. Shouldn't be too bad. Should be able to just be variable. It's also fat rolling, like, jeez. This seems to do a lot of HP though. God, yeah, just... Man. The range in that golden parry is just absolutely crazy. Oh, no trading on that. Trade me to death. Get parried, nerd. Charge up the heavy. Ooh, he actually rolled twice. Should get frostbitten soon. Probably now. Yeah, that's what I thought. Bop. Damn, he swung first. He did not want to roll. Did. Why did I think I could parry that? Ignore that. Ignore all of the failed parries that I just had. That just happened. I swear I'm good at this game. There we go. Well, that's the first mission done. Should progress a few quest lines. Alright. Second mission of the Volcano Manor. This dude. Don't know how to pronounce that name. Oh shit, that does a lot of damage. Oh, there's a frostbite proc. Still can't be parried though. Nice. Since he's wielding a dagger, I'm not gonna go for a follow-up. I'll just wait for him to go again. Let me just do that. Now he's getting low, so I want to see if I can catch him on that. Okay. Okay. Just kind of be patient. The Scarlet Rot build up. I don't want to like try to over push on this, especially since he also just 2-taps me. Oh my god. Dude, this area just absolutely sucks to fight in. It's so claustrophobic. Haha, got him. Again, not gonna punish with his tiny ass weapon. Oh, it parried off the edge. This area sucks. Can't do shit. It's just like... I mean, it works, but like, goddamn. Such a bad area to fight in. It's just so tight. Oh, you got it though. Not too bad. Parries work exceptionally well against NPCs that are human-sized. It also works exceptionally well against real players. Now, one of the Volcano Manor requests is located in the ruin-strewn Remembrances in these cliffs here. So while I'm here, I thought, why not just take out the Magma Wyrm that's located behind this fog wall. I've already fought one of these before, although that one didn't have a phase 2 like this one does, so it's slightly different. A lot of things to get caught on in this boss room. Is he gonna... No, there we go. I wonder if he's gonna continue spewing fire. Looks like he takes a decent amount of damage. Not a ridiculous amount, but enough to make it manageable. Oof, I don't think I'm gonna get a punish. No, I probably could have punished that. Just keep doing jumping heavies. The more you do, the more likely he's gonna stagger. That's bad. I actually dodged it. There we go. Now, fighting these before, they don't seem to really take much status debuffs, so I'm not gonna like try to go for the claws. I'm just gonna go for the sword instead. Ah, fire. Yeah, I don't want to heal there. What are we getting hit by that? Wait until a better opportunity to heal. That still had peacocks. Should be close to staggering. I want to get that off before I try to heal. Try to heal now. He's pushing me up against a wall. That lava is kind of concerning. I don't want him to push me into it. Alright, now he goes into phase 2. I remember it was a little bit easier if you stuck behind him, like near his tailish area, and stayed without a lock on. That was the hardest part about this move, though. Ooh. You can use the centerpiece here to like... Man, he really turns on a 180 on that. It's hard. Yeah, you kind of just have to time it. You can like look at his feet, and you can see whenever he's starting to come down on the swing. You kind of just want to dodge at that point. Ooh, do not want to get caught on his legs there. Ooh, and there's a frost proc. Nice. Ah, I was way too early. I'm gonna get punished for that as well. For a lot of the big bosses, you can kind of like read them from just looking at their feet. You can kind of see in their feet where they're actually gonna like swing down. Ooh, we got a riposte, although I don't know if I can punish it with the lava being there. I still can. I got ticked from it, but I should be able to heal that off. Still have 6 heals left. At this point, I'm actually going to run away and use the one-tap protection. Jumping heavies work, although that is definitely unpunishable. So I'm just going to sit back here and charge some heavies on him. Gonna be honest though, probably shouldn't have used that. It left me at not max HP. That's something I like make a misjudgment on a lot. Ooh, okay. That was a little bit closer than I expected. He kind of pushed me into the lava there. But I find myself using the one-tap protection a lot of times way too early. That's generally something you want to use after you've already been hit once, so that doesn't kill you. So you don't have to be at max HP, instead of just being at full HP if you still have heals left. Just try to use it whenever you've actually already been hit once and you're not at max. Right. Terragoth. Bullgoat armor. I have a lot of poise with this armor, so it's probably just best to use jumping heavies most of the time, and then go for critical attacks when possible, because anything that's like a normal swing, like a light swing, is just going to get poised through. Once he does that, just go for jumping heavy. And then anytime he does some sort of flip, I kind of just try to go for a critical attack. Although it appears that at least that one can be continued on. So you gotta do it fast. Nice. Yeah, he's just gonna poise through most of what you do. Gonna heal behind a wall. Heavy attack should be able to be enough to break his poise though. Unless he goes into like a weapon art like that. But that's super easily punishable if you just dodge the hit. Honestly, with things like this, you just want to play patient. Trying to go in super aggressive is not going to be very rewarding. But any sort of special attack that he does, like that butt slam, is super easily punishable. At least if you dodge the actual hit. That would be important. There we go. Yeah. Heavy weapons are at least pretty easy to dodge most of the time, and are super easily punishable by just like critical attacks and such. Alright. Now we have another mission from the Volcano Manor. Killing these two with Bernal. It's a 2v2, so you can try to get them distracted. Although, it does mean that they can... Bernal might be able to carry one on his own. So if you're able to just basically take aggro on one of them, should be fine. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go for him. You gotta make sure that he doesn't just get killed on his own. Oh, come on. You missed the backstab. There you go. I'm not entirely sure if this weapon can be parried or not. Don't necessarily want to test it, doesn't need to be. You can just basically get him into this loop. Oh, great. All of those hit me. Well, now he's stuck on him, so you can just backstab him before he actually gets any hit in. Oh, did he kill the caster? Nice. Yeah, caster's dead. Yeah, if you could basically just distract one of them, Bernal should be able to get the other one. Although, you gotta make sure he does that before he gets killed. Alright, cool. Yeah, you want to make sure at least you can get one of the casters. That might be a little bit of RNG in that fight, but it seems like he can do it somewhat consistently. He had a bit of HP afterwards.
Now the last mission for the Volcano Manor is actually located all the way up here in the mountaintops of the Giants. Obviously yet to beat Morgott to get up to this point, which I haven't done yet. So I actually won't be able to beat Rykard before Morgott. Because I kind of want to just finish out this quest line and all quest lines related to the Volcano Manor before killing Rykard, because it kind of just ends all of them. So I'll explore the manor, get to Rykard, but then not actually fight him. And now I come across the Godskin Noble once more. We've already fought this guy once, so we already know what he can do. I don't know if he has more or less HP or damage than what he had before, but yeah, most of it's just parry, and then do that. Now he does kind of read your Estus, so he does have a little bit of input reading, but honestly, I've never had a problem with that. Normally you're fast enough to get the Estus out and dodge the fireball.
Now when he does this, you can kind of like lure him behind one of these pillars here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the weapon art around this corner here. Build up some frost. Oh, shoot. Yeah, you want to dodge into him whenever he does that spam one. If you dodge into him and to his right, you can get around the fast swings. Oh, wow. Ran out of FP, that's why. Yeah, I forgot to change one of the flasks to the blue one. Alright, let's try this again. Now that we've actually gotten a little bit of the blue flasks, we now have enough mana to do the Frost Stomp. Alright. But this boss isn't too bad. It's mostly just learning his parry timings. And just parrying everything he does. Pretty much all of his attacks can be parried. And you need plenty of time to do it. Now after every riposte I roll in, swipe, and then roll out. Just because there's a belly attack that he does that has a one tick startup. That is super hard to read. Unless you like already pre-read it. That allows me to like basically get in, get a hit, and still stay safe afterwards. Alright. Alright, and then he'll always alternate between which jumping attack he does, so... that's the attack I was worried about. But he'll always alternate between the special attacks that he does. So if he jumps and does a roll, the next one's not going to have a roll. And then if he jumps and he didn't have a roll, the next one will be. There we go. See, there you go. That's able to avoid it. It's not 100% consistent, but it's good enough to survive the fight. And this is why we have the FP flasks. This one should not be a roll. Yeah, that is one tick. Unless you predict it to happen, you're not dodging it. Which is super annoying. If you miss parry anything, it doesn't kill you. At least, since I have 100% DR shield, it doesn't. But... and then whatever that fast jab attack that he has that he just did, you can either dodge into it or dodge away. Both of them are safe options. As long as you just don't dodge perpendicular, you're fine. But yeah, just keep parrying, roll in to get an extra hit, roll out, and then if he doesn't do the belly attack, you can just parry whatever he does afterwards. Gone. Well, that first one didn't actually have a damage, because I'm pretty sure. That should be it. There we go. That was pretty easy. We've already encountered him once, so we already know how to fight him. There's like 2 attempts to beat him. But that should leave the most of the Volcano Manor open now up till Rykard, which we're not doing yet. We'll wait until after we Morgott, just to finish out the Volcano Manor questlines. Anyway, I think that's all I'll have time for in this part. We got through quite a bit, clearing out Fia's questline and clearing out all of the possible questlines for the Volcano Manor that we could before defeating Morgott. We weren't able to defeat Rykard, just because I kind of want to wait until after I complete the quest lines. But I think next time I'm gonna try to kill Morgott, kill Rykard probably, and just clear out the mountaintop of the giants, get through that entire area. So, anyway, that's all I have time for now. I will see you in the next video.